Welcome back to Jersey Matters. The tragic suicide of 12-year-old Mallory Grossman rocked not only Copeland Middle School in Rockaway Township, but schools and communities across the state because Mallory was the victim of cyberbullying, raising the question, are schools and law enforcement doing enough to protect children like Mallory? In a moment, we're going to talk to someone advocating a national solution to cyberbullying. But first, here is Ellen Kolodziej with more on the Mallory Grossman tragedy. Ellen.
Thank you, Larry. Sadly, we've all heard about how cyberbullying is on the rise among teenagers and even preteens. But now the question is, who is ultimately responsible after a young person takes their own life? Well, one New Jersey couple is blaming a school after their 12-year-old daughter committed suicide.
Small device can be a lethal weapon in the hands of the wrong child.
Mallory Grossman's parents say constant taunts from classmates through text, Instagram, and Snapchat made their beautiful daughter distraught.
It humiliated her. It intimidated her. It made her feel alone.
The text messages escalated to the point where they actually said, "Why don't you kill yourself?"
Her parents are now suing Copeland Middle School and Rockaway School District because they say administrators ignored their repeated pleas for help.
Why did it continue? I mean, certainly myself as a school administrator, it would have been over. I would have had the parents in, there would have been no further contact with this child. I mean, I guess, how did it lead to the extent that this child felt so bad about herself that she had to take her life? And that's what angers me. I mean, how did it continue?
Claudio Cerullo speaks at schools across the nation with an organization called Teach Anti-Bullying, Inc. He's also helped other parents sue school districts in the past. And from what's been reported, he says it looks like the Grossmans may have a solid case, especially because the bullying laws are tougher in New Jersey than most states.
Yes, they're absolutely accountable for the loss of life, and particularly if it happened on school property, and if it's physical in nature, because there's multiple levels of bullying that occurred with this child, not just from the social and physical, but certainly from the cyber realm. And some things can be controlled within the school, and some things are out of the control of the district. But I think what makes it so curious to me is why did it continue?
The school district would not comment on the case, but Superintendent Greg McGann said in a statement that the teachers, staff, and administrators within the Rockaway Township School District are, as they have always been, and as they will continue to be, committed to protecting the rights and safety for all our students. Now, the Grossmans say no matter what happens in any New Jersey courtroom, they're raising awareness about the dangers of cyberbullying. They've raised almost $100,000 to start Mal's group, and they will work for the rest of their lives, they say, to stop cyberbullying. Reporting for Jersey Matters, I'm Ellen Kolodziej.
All right, thank you, Ellen. Now we continue the conversation on cyberbullying with Todd Schobel, who is an advocate against cyberbullying. He is president and CEO of StopIt. Thank you so much for being here. I guess the obvious question is, what is StopIt?
StopIt essentially gives people a voice. When we speak in K-12, gives a voice to not only the students, but the administration to be able to anonymously report things that they see by using an app on their phone.
Okay.
And it provides a platform also for the administrators to receive these reports in real time so they can get proactive.
You're supposed to, if you see bullying, report it, but this is a way of doing it anonymously?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's 100% anonymous. And what there is people see what's going on. They're the eyes and ears in a school, the faculty and the students. But then you have these barriers that come in place. Fear of retribution, being called a snitch, like we were saying earlier, social status. Do I want to get involved? And those are very powerful things that get people to hold back before they will share.
So for this StopIt to work, a school district would have to implement it?
Absolutely.
How many?
Thousands of schools all across the country, and we're also in 5 different countries now.
How about New Jersey?
In New Jersey, hundreds and hundreds of schools are on the platform, and coming up this new season, the school start, we work with insurance companies, insurance providers. And in the state of New Jersey, hundreds and hundreds of schools are now financed by their insurance providers through a partnership that StopIt has with them to provide the platform for free to the school districts, no cost.
You said hundreds of school districts or hundreds of schools in New Jersey have this. Does the school that she went to?
No, they do not. But I know that in Rockaway, I believe.
Rockaway, yeah.
Yeah. No, they do not, but the Rockaway does have access to our platform for free via their insurance provider. So we welcome to have a discussion with them so they can implement StopIt to give their students a comfortable voice, like we said earlier, to be able to share information that they see. And it also gives the administrators the ability to, there's a back-end system, an incident case management system, so it really helps them, saves them time, helps them with their investigatory process. They have the ability to have conversations with people that report in anonymously via the app. So they can find out what's going on, they can have videos sent to them, screenshots, they get evidence, so then they can act on these things and prevent.
I get it. But
and most importantly, deter these behaviors, because everyone knows that everyone's watching.
That's the most important
That's
part.
the most, because it's a preventative measure.
But I get it. So you're saying just by having the app that could deter things. However, again, I want to go back to this case because, and again, everything's been alleged. It's still being investigated. It's being litigated. If they knew about it and they do nothing about it, then there has to be an onus on schools to act on information. It can't just be getting the information. They have to be able to act on it.
Yes.
And so where does that come from? Is that the government that should be forcing them to do that?
Well, again, like we have some of the strictest anti-bullying laws, or what we call HIB in the state of New Jersey, harassment, intimidation, bullying. And when there is a report of potential bullying or cyberbullying that takes place in a school, the school has a mandatory, has a minimum of 10 days to find resolution.
There was a case in Massachusetts where a young girl was telling her boyfriend to commit suicide.
Yes.
Not just telling him to commit suicide, pushing him, saying, why haven't you done it yet? You promised, get back in the car, kill yourself. She's been convicted. She's going to do time. You would think that would be a wake-up call across the country. Very few people involved in cyberbullying, though, do have to go through get criminal charges.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you're dealing with kids as young as 7 years old, 10 years old, that are creating campaigns of hate to go after a student, right? It's an imbalance of power. You see somebody, you don't like the way they look, you don't like where they come from, you don't like the clothes they wear, whatever it may be. Then they start a campaign against that individual.
There's 7-year-olds involved in cyberbullying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, you have Instagram, someone posts a picture, look at this. You know, look where we went, and someone says, you know, well, you can't afford to go anyplace special. We went to Italy, right? Or whatever they do, and they make those comparisons. And then people pile on, and they make comments. And the crazy thing is kids can't put it down. They have to go back and look to see what people are saying to them. So it's awful how they get sucked into very quickly just some horrible hate. And then it leads to, like what this girl did with her boyfriend, it leads to people and kids calling out their victim to commit suicide, take their life.
We talked about this case before the interview started on air, and you were saying this is common. Yeah,
I mean, they call them trolls.
Well, I mean, somebody saying to somebody to commit suicide is common.
Absolutely. They'll wait. You know, I'll read multiple cases where you read the case file and the history where they'll show the social media interaction, and they start to go, and then the child starts to break down physically, doesn't come to school, and then they will continue to abuse them. And then finally they'll say, it's time for you to commit suicide.
But the reason that the Massachusetts case got so much coverage, because it was so unusual for someone to be charged in this.
To be charged, yes, but not unusual, the behavior.
No, to be charged and then convicted of it.
It's fantastic.
You would think so?
Yes. I firmly believe that. Do you think that young man would have taken his life if his girlfriend that he was emotionally attached to didn't encourage him and tell him and expect him to commit suicide?
But he still had to take his own life.
Absolutely, I understand that. But words have
So you would like to see
effect.
those type of convictions across the country?
Yeah, absolutely. You hold people accountable for their actions. Now listen, there's a lot of gray area in these investigations. I'm not fully aware of everything that took place, and I don't want to do the court of public opinion of what I read and see, but ultimately, he took his life, and she was a major contributor to that. Take it this way, if you're in a movie theater and you scream fire, and people get trampled, well, you didn't trample them, but you caused that. Isn't that illegal?
Well, let's bring this local. So if it is determined that this young girl in Rockaway Township was bullied to the point where she took her own life, you'd like to see criminal charges against whom? The kids that did it or the school? If it can be proven.
Well, I think people should be held accountable. So whether it be the school, whether it be the students, whether it be both, if evidence shows, and see, everything's identifiable, especially when it's cyberbullying. You can identify all this. So if you can identify a student or students that are telling someone to go kill themselves, well, those people should be held accountable. To what level? Again, I don't really know there, but they should be held accountable. And we see case and case again where this happens and suicide occurs, and they found the kids that were doing it, and
nothing happens.
It's ridiculous what happens. There's no accountability. They laugh.
Okay, and so just to wrap up, StopIt is available. It's free for school districts. So if parents...
Through insurance relationships, which we have vast relationships with insurance companies in New Jersey. So I encourage parents, reach out to your school district, and ask them if they have StopIt. Or you can reach out, obviously, to stopitsolutions.com, and we can help get you to the right people and just make society and make schools. Let's get back to learning, and let teachers get back to teaching, and let kids be back to being kids again. Kind of clean things up a bit. Shot of penicillin.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Todd Schobel is an advocate against cyberbullying, president and CEO of StopIt. When Jersey Matters continues. Coming up next on Jersey Matters, you will meet the most unlikely martial arts champion.